You know, there's something really timeless and romantic about a vineyard, isn't there? The rolling hills, those perfect rows of vines, the promise of a really great glass of wine. But what if I told you the story we think we know about wine has a massive, shocking secret?
Yeah, we think of it as a story of soil and sun and centuries of tradition. And it is. Behind every single glass of wine is this incredibly rich, complex history. But part of that history, a part almost no one talks about, is a near catastrophe that almost wiped wine off the face of the earth for good.
And I'm not exaggerating. Seriously, try to imagine a world with no Bordeaux, no Burgundy, no Chianti. It came this close to happening. The story of how wine was saved is maybe one of the greatest and most invisible comeback stories in the entire history of agriculture. So, our story really kicks off back in the mid 19th century, and it starts with a microscopic villain, a tiny, unassuming insect that basically hitched a ride across the Atlantic and then just declared all out war on Europe's most prized possession, its grapevines. This little guy is called phylloxera. It's a tiny aphid-like pest that does one thing. It attacks the roots of grapevines. Now, the classic European vines, the ones we call Vitis vinifera that give us all our famous wines, well, they had absolutely zero natural defense. The plague just tore through the continent, leaving dead, withered vineyards everywhere it went. It was a full-blown apocalypse for the wine world. So with their vineyards completely devastated, where could winemakers possibly turn? Well, the answer, pretty ironically, came from the exact same place the pest came from, America. And this led to one of the most brilliant and, let's be honest, unlikely alliances in history. You see, while the Native American vines didn't really produce wine that Europeans were excited to drink, their roots had spent thousands of years evolving a natural defense against phylloxera. The solution was basically a kind of plant surgery. You take the top of the precious European vine and physically attach it, graft it, onto the tough, resistant American root system. So what this means is that almost every single wine grape vine today is actually two separate plants fused into one. The bottom part is the rootstock. You can think of it as the engine or the chassis of a car. It's chosen for its rugged, practical skills, its ability to fight off pests, and to thrive in very specific types of soil. Then you have the top part, and that's the scion. Now, if the rootstock is the engine, the scion is the artist, the celebrity. It's the cutting from the original European vine, the Cabernet Sauvignon, the Chardonnay, the Merlot. This is the part that actually determines the flavor and the character of the grape. So you have this tough, hardy rootstock, the real unsung hero, and then the scion, which produces the world-famous grapes. They are fused together to create one single resilient super vine. But, saving the world's wine wasn't as simple as just grabbing any old American root. It turned out to be a really complex science, a lot like matchmaking, actually. You had to find the perfect rootstock for each unique vineyard. And the reason for that is that soil is everything in winemaking. Is it chalky and full of limestone? Is it dry and stony? Is it acidic? The soil is the ultimate limiting factor, and you have to have a rootstock that is specifically built to thrive in those exact conditions. Take a look at this. The rootstock called 41B, for example, is an absolute champion in soils with a lot of limestone, which can be really tough for other vines. But if you put it in dry, acidic soil, it would totally fail. For that job, you'd want something like 196-17 Castell, which is a total rock star in poor, stony ground. It's all about picking the right tool for the job. Or let's look at another huge factor, water. In a really hot, dry region, you need a rootstock with very high drought resistance, something like the 110R. But if your vineyard gets a good amount of rain, a rootstock with lower resistance, like SO4, might be totally fine, and it might even give you other benefits. It's this constant, careful balancing act. This quote from the source material just says it all. You can have the greatest grape variety in the entire world, but if you plant it on the wrong foundation, the whole vineyard is doomed from the start. Choosing the rootstock is the first and maybe the most important decision a winemaker ever makes. So how does all this actually happen today? How are these millions and millions of super vines created? Let's take a little peek inside a modern vine nursery to see how it's done. It is a fascinating, super controlled process. Okay, so first, they take cuttings from the parent plants. Then, those two parts are joined together with incredible precision. These new little grafts are put into warm, humid rooms to heal up. That's where the two plants officially become one. After they've healed, they're planted outside in nursery fields to get stronger. And then finally, the finished vines are carefully selected and shipped out to vineyards all over the world. And here's a close-up of that critical connection. It's called an omega graft because of that cool interlocking shape, which creates a really strong, stable bond between the rootstock and the scion. This is literally where the magic happens. This is the point where two plants become one. And this is what you get, a field packed with thousands of young, healthy, grafted vines. Every single one is a tiny super vine, ready to be planted and in just a few years, produce the grapes for your favorite bottle of wine. So, what's the ultimate legacy of this incredible story? What does this century-old solution actually mean for us today when we're picking out a bottle of wine? Well, in a word, it means diversity. Without grafting, we would have lost thousands of unique grape varieties to that phylloxera plague. This simple but absolutely brilliant technique saved an entire world of flavor, allowing over 10,000 different varieties to survive and thrive. It's what allows the world's most famous grapes to be grown all across the globe. That bold Cabernet Sauvignon you love from France and California, the spicy Tempranillo from Spain, the elegant Pinot Noir from Burgundy and Oregon, all of these now grow worldwide because of this process. And this is the final amazing takeaway. Almost every single glass of wine you drink is the product of this international alliance. It's a European top expressing all its unique flavor and character, being held up by a tough, resilient American foundation hidden just beneath the soil. So the next time you open a bottle of wine, just take a second. As you're appreciating the smell and the taste, maybe give a little thought to that unseen hero, the American rootstock that saved the day. It's the silent partner, the invisible engine that makes the whole world of wine possible.